one of the trades, but not much in any of the rest. Well, the other one's finally came through. There's just a massive delay because the other three didn't come through. Just now showing
Is there a meeting today?
Can you hear me, Ivy?
I can. Who's that, Kim?
Yep, it's Kim. I just put it in the chat. We're just getting a slow start. Our internet was down all morning, so.
Oh, I figured. Okay. All right. Well, I'm here. I'm just gonna put myself on mute and do some work and.
Thank you.
Okay, it'll just be a couple minutes.
No worries. Okay. Thank you.
Guys. Yeah, thanks,
Bye.
Ivy.
We might be down to where the only people that we could ever have light out would be cash buyers. I tried again yesterday. And all I did.
Where's everybody? Nobody's here? We have Ivy and Sophia and Sarah Lausch on Zoom. You can wait for right there, they can see it.
Nobody's here. Okay.
Armand was having printing troubles because.
I did too, because I had a thing to print and it didn't print and I already closed the screen. So.
Maybe you want to go let them know there's nobody here.
Can you do me a favor? I'll do some more stairs.
Yeah. Good luck in there.
I'll do another 100 stairs. Okay.
Hey everybody, look at this big empty room. I think it's because it's raining. Here's Kim. Okay, Kim's here. It's only empty this direction. But anyway, for all of our sales rallies, when we have all these people here, we usually do butts and seats. And so I usually give a gift away to the first person that's in the room, or we collect business cards and do a drawing. But since the only people here are on Zoom, I'm going to give this book, Profit First, Transform Your Business from a Cash-Eating Monster to a Money-Making Machine. It's really cool. Mike Michalowicz, he actually came and spoke at one of my events a couple years ago. Anyway, this book is awesome. It helped me do a budget model for my business. And I'm going to give this book to Sophia because she was the first one in the room. So Sophia, come by my office and I'll bring you this book. This works. Let me get my clicker. Alrighty.
We're paying attention, just so you know.
Oh, I love you guys.
Thanks.
Will you let Abrima in?
Yep.
Okay, so even though it's raining, I'm reading a book right now called Fanatical Prospecting. And And Fanatical Prospecting is awesome. It's all about how agents have to plug in and create their pipeline and constantly push forward their pipeline and add to it consistently. Oh, thanks, Armand. Except it's after 11. Do you want to keep this one? You can use it in open house.
Are you serious?
Anyway, Fanatical Prospecting. I think it's a foundation of sales and business, so if you haven't read Fanatical Prospecting, grab it, put it in your Amazon cart. I think it was only like $10. I bought it on Audible, and I'm already on like chapter 4 because it was so good. Also, I had to drive to SeaTac last night, and it took me 3 hours to get there and back, so. All right, will you click the screen so I can click this?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm like, your clicker works.
Oh, okay, so Y4C2Ts. We got a couple people in here. Anybody got a win to share? A win-win or a teamwork thing or anything?
Wait for you.
Customers always come first. Success results through people. Well, I'm just gonna say teamwork together, everyone achieves more. Kim is one of the best team members that I have ever worked with in my entire life.
Thanks.
And together, we can put our heads together because we share half a brain, I feel like sometimes. We say the same things, we finish each other's sentences now. But because of that, we can come up with these ideas for you guys and think of ways to increase productivity on a whole at the brokerage and help you guys win and the brokerage win. Yay!
Thank you.
That was awesome. No, I was saying thank you. That was awesome.
Anything, Kim, culture?
Culture, I'm sorry.
Wait, I have one thing to say about the win-win or no deal.
All right, Ivy.
Hi, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
So it took a while to get the inspection signed around on the listing on Lake Stevens. And, you know, when you're working with people that are, you know, $3 million buyers and sellers, they kind of tend to dig in because both of them want to be right and both of them want to win. They're very competitive, right? Most people of that category kind of are, unfortunately. But I managed to get a win-win. So we are now pending. Only took 11 days.
Woo! Good job, Ivy.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Ivy, I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It was really not easy because, and finally I called the agent and I said, you know, we just have to make this a win-win for both of them. She goes, I know. Why doesn't your seller just throw in some furniture and that way they feel like they're getting something? I go, great. She's not taking it all anyway. I'll be right back with you. It worked.
I love it. I love it. Okay.
I stuck these slides in.
Oh, yay. I think Rick's around here somewhere.
Rick Iverson. I snuck these slides in because last sales rally, we talked about the regional mentionees. And this one came up on our regional call today, and it's really cool. So top teams listings taken volume. Number 9 in the whole region is Overtime Homes, and it's Rick Iverson, and he just started his own team, and it's Rick, Nicole, and Angie, and they've been crushing it and killing it both. So I just want to put this one on here and say congratulations to Rick. And then the other one is us. It's very, very rare when we actually make it to the top 10 for owner profits, and we are number 8. So
That's great, you guys.
Yay.
That's in the region. In the
the
region.
whole
In
region.
what category?
Owner profits, which means that like everything was high last month.
So remember, to be that high in owner profits means that we also are that high in profit share,
Yes.
right? As well. So, because owner profits is only half of the profit.
Right.
Wow, you guys.
Yes, so those are 2 slides I snuck in, and I'm very excited about that. Good job, guys.
Yay! I'm really proud of everybody. You know, we're a pretty big deal, Marysville. Okay, so Go Fund Yourself is gonna be an awesome event. It has, I just want to read you off the list of the panels and speakers and what they're speaking about. It has, first they're gonna do state of the industry, listing mastery, luxury real estate, future buyer agency, power is in your people, succeeding through leverage, expert real estate planning, wealth building in today's market, real estate investing. Zach Lazo, he was on Rising Tides. Oh, I used to have a slide with all the speakers' pictures. Think Bigger with Ben Kinney, invest your way to wealth. Then there's gonna be a lunch and a happy hour, and then relocation, a tool to grow your business. Northwest Luxury, grow with luxury, going big in real estate, lead generation strategies that work now, state of new construction, list your way to success, no limitations, no excuses, mindset with Todd Dutzman. I'm really, really excited for this lineup. It's huge, it's 2 days, it's here in Seattle, we can drive there, we don't have to fly anywhere. It's gonna be amazing, June 4th and 5th at the Westin. And if you RSVP right now, it's $3 something, I think, for both days. But of course, lunch included on both days, so awesome. And then I added this slide because we just got this in our leadership. KW is putting this on. Is that blocking the QR code? Anyways, critical conversations in real estate. This is Phil Jones. When I was at Family Reunion, I got to be in a couple different rooms listening to Phil Jones, but he wrote the book Exactly What to Say. It's that little black book, and it has like 26 rules on languaging and sales. He's just amazing how he talks about things, like how to talk to people about real estate without making them feel uncomfortable, asking them questions that are easy to answer, like he totally changes and morphs the way your closings can go when you're closing in a conversation, when you use his tactics. Anyway, so Keller Williams is putting this on, knowing exactly what to say to win now, and it's gonna be an online event, and there's 2 different dates for it because he wanted to make sure everybody can go because it's coming up so fast. So it's either June 24th, which I think is a Monday, or the 27th that week. General admission is $249, and you get a workbook, a physical workbook they'll mail you in the mail that will go with it. And then, and they were talking about how somebody else took Jen, whatever her name is, took the class, and she carries a workbook around with, like, it's part of her presentations and daily everything. Yeah. And then if you're KW Mastery, it's only $149.
He said that the workbook alone, he sells for $1,000 with the class, so
Yeah.
this is like a huge.
Yeah, KW like negotiated this deal with him. Oh yeah, because it's a sales training, it's like high level sales training.
Thank you, thousands.
a day too.
For you?
I can't get this.
I hate you guys, I paid $10,000 for a class, so.
Oh, I've seen it.
Okay, but let's talk about lower cost tickets. Because when Molly puts on events, she wants to fill the room. So,
But it has nothing to do with the value, it's
Nothing.
about giving a gift to
absolutely not.
everybody to win-win.
So this is the old slide that's hard to read. So this is gonna be interesting, but,
I have to check in
I
there.
know.
okay, so
really worried.
winning series investing, is gonna be an amazing winning series next Wednesday. It's from 10 to 2. Daniel, Lynn, and I all work together to handpick these panels. Like we've talked to all these people, we've interviewed them. We wanted the best of the best on these subjects on these panels. We've got Nye Lee, Scott Estes. If you guys don't know, okay, so some of these names, these are power players in the real estate investing world. Nye Lee is private money or hard money. Scott Estes is, role reverse. Scott Estes is hard money. Nye Lee is a private money investor. Jennifer Rogers and the Envoy team is going to be there talking about conventional ways to buy homes and do house hacking. Nicole Frandanisa is amazing in the South End for real estate investing. She's on lots of different platforms. She talks all the time on house flipping, deal structuring, and how to do deals. She's amazing, how to balance investor life. Kate Johansson's awesome, she's from EXP. She started a whole senior services thing for seniors getting out of their homes and then buying new homes. Brianna Albro, she used to be KW. She does a lot of housing, investing, and holding of real estate. Jeff Latham has been in and out of this office, and he is also amazing with not only growing a huge real estate team, but also growing a huge real estate portfolio himself. Dave Gardner, he was just here the other day. Richard Hager is also an expert on ADUs. Courtney McClaskey is talking about short-term rentals. Jesse Lee is like the landlord of landlords. He talks all about holding real estate and how to evict people out of your real estate. He's hilarious. Marko Djukanovic is, he is right down the street and he does the tiny home builder right off 88. The name is escaping me right now, but he does everyday views and also carriage houses, yeah. Derek Oliver, amazing real estate investor. Tom Howell, amazing real estate strategist. He's come here and done investment masterminds with us, and we've broke down like 5 different ways to buy the same property, whether you're owner financing it or you're lease to own, or like all different ways. It's amazing. And then of course Anton will be there too to talk to us about creating your deal box in real estate. Because every appointment we always go on, you guys, I always want you to, whether it's a listing appointment or you're meeting and showing houses with a buyer, I always want you to have in your mind the question, would I buy this house? Can I buy this house, right? If you're going to sit down on a listing appointment, I want you to think first, how can I buy this house before I list this house, right? If they want to list a house for $900,000, but maybe they don't want to deal with the taxes and whatever, create a financing, do an off-market deal, put it together with somebody else. I'm not talking about pocket listings, I'm just talking about creative strategies to build wealth, invest in ourselves, right? Build legacies worth having, legacies worth leaving at the end of our lives. That's what it's all about, is building wealth. So anyway, this room is $25. It is an amazing room.
Worth 1,000.
It's worth $10,000.
Yes.
Because
at
some of
least.
these people I went to were at the event I was at, that was a $10,000 event. Amazing room, amazing brains to network with. And if you put invest in, it drops your ticket to $12.50, so you can bring a friend. So the room is filling up, it's over half full, so if you don't have your ticket, get your ticket.
And what's capacity now?
If I hit above 125, I have to go, I'll be upstairs too. So we're trying to like pack the house up and down.
Okay.
Last time there was 80 people there, but people didn't buy their tickets until like 2 days before.
Yeah.
Because I was sick and we weren't marketing, I was out for a week. So this one, I feel like all these people with such a stretch out, it's gonna fill up really fast, so. Get your tickets, tell people about it, it's gonna be amazing. Like, if you wanna up your real estate investing game, this is the room to be in, don't miss it. Here's my speaker.
There they are.
Oh, okay, it's okay. Here's the speaker lineup for Go Fund Yourself, which is also, these are amazing top players. And when we were going through the regional like volume awards, a lot of these people were on there. So these are the people that are winning in real estate right now. And if you want to up your game and up your strategies about how your business is operating, if you're not getting the amount of deals you want to get, these are the people to listen to and take notes on how they're doing it, and find a person that's doing it like you, and then just, copy what they're doing, copy their highest metric of action. Okay, and then stick around, because right after this class is Ed Finland's class. Oops, that's okay.
Beautiful people on there.
Ed's class is right after this class, so Ed, here's Ed right now. I know you just walked in, Ed, but do you wanna just shout out on what your class is gonna be about after this class?
Well, I don't have a set thing. I mean, I did this, so we had something to talk about, but when I did it up north, it was kinda started as scripts. And so we do that, but then we do kind of education, we talk about lead gen, we just,
So exactly what to say and exactly what to do.
yeah, I mean, figuring out how to have enough people to talk to,
Yeah,
saying enough times and knowing what to say.
yeah, it's the most important thing. And talk to me about this 70% response rate.
So it's this new thing that I didn't come up with, somebody told me about it, and just a way to reach out to leads that I haven't done the exact math, but in my head, I'm getting about a 70% return.
Perfect. Yeah, who wants
Reply
a,
rate.
who
So
wants a
if
70%
you call them,
reply?
you text them, you email them, you know, short of wrestling them to the floor. I've been, now, I mean, like anything else, you know, texting used to be like that, and Facebook or, you know, social media, instant messaging was like that for a little while. And now this is like that now, and it may go away too, you know, or not go away, but lose its effectiveness.
Sure, it shifts and changes, right? We have to try to pivot and adapt to the highest and best use of our time, right? Absolutely. Okay, so that's right after this class. Grab a cup of coffee, go to the bathroom, meet back in here and dig into exactly what to say and find enough people to say it to.
And then I didn't know, I mean, in my mind, everybody should have two stool, legs to their, well, you should have at least 3 legs to your stool, but, and you should, you know, if you could have 5 or 6, but 2 of them would be, one would be sphere.
Yeah.
And the other would be farming, probably geographic. So I thought we would talk a little bit about geographic and
Nice,
so.
perfect. Okay. Armand is here with us today to talk about open houses. I had a couple agents reach out to me asking specifically on how are open houses working out, how do we use that as a tool? And so I promised that I would put together some type of open house playbook. And I thought, who could teach a really good class on open houses? Armand does open houses at a high level. So Armand, take it away.
Okay, control the lights.
Yeah.
Thanks for the.
The camera's right there,
So we need to be more back here.
if they wanna, if you want them to see.
Sure, yeah. I mean, well, they'll hear me.
You can just
You
like,
guys will see.
I'm sure they'll hear.
do you want my spot?
No, this is good.
Okay.
This is good. I'm fine with standing up. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Armand. Been at the office now, it's my 8th year, and I love it here. And when I first came to the office, I too had questions, you know. I had a mentor, she was great. And I said, you know, how can I build my business? And number 1, she said, your sphere. That's the most important because we already know these people. Those are not cold leads, they're not warm, they're more like hot. And number 2 was open houses. And I was like, wow, really? And what I learned over the years with open houses is it's great because you're there, you have a product, and the buyers and sellers come to you. Like you're not having to go to them. You don't have to get on the phone and dial for dollars or door knock or whatever that looks like, right? They're coming to you. And with low inventory, right, more are gonna come to you. So here's kind of my strategy. There's a million different playbooks.
Wow.
There's a million different
Sorry.
many different playbooks out there about how to do open houses. I'm just gonna kind of share with you how I do them. First and foremost, I think it's important before you do an open house is to identify your goals, right? What is your goal of the open house? Is your goal to pick up buyers, sellers, or both? In my case, I push it even further than that. I do a lot of social media, that's where I get the bulk of my business. And so I'm gonna use the open house to actually promote on my social media too. You know, and I don't do the come see me at 123 Main Street because I have cookies because nobody cares. They're not gonna do it, right? It's great, it's a cool video, but I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm gonna ask people, who do you know, right? Because can we all agree we probably have 500 to 1,000 people on our Facebook, right? In our sphere that we know. So I'm gonna take the opportunity once I've identified the open house to actually market it at a high level also. So the first thing I wanna do is I wanna identify what is my goal, buyers, sellers, both. I want them both, and I want my sphere to know about it too, okay? Then I think it's really important also to identify the listing, okay, the location and the price. Sure, if we're doing our own open house, that's great, right? We love that. I think the landscape's gonna change a little bit now, because doing our open houses before, we could pick up a buyer for it. If that's your thing, great. If that's not your thing, that's okay. So that landscape might change a little bit with some of the new rules and laws coming. But be strategic, just sitting an open house to sit an open house, does that really make sense? Is that a good return on your investment, right? So we always think ROI. We have to map this out and go, what is the return on my time, right? So for me, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna be more focusing in on those lower price points, right? I don't know if so much if I'm gonna go after condos and whatnot, or maybe I will because that's a great entry level, but I'm like 400 to 600 range, right? Because I know I'm gonna get a ton of traffic that's gonna walk through that door. Tons of buyers, maybe some sellers in the neighborhood, right? So if I'm looking for sellers, I'm gonna door knock that neighborhood. Hand out flyers, let them know on Friday what I'm doing Saturday and Sunday and invite them. Okay, because a lot of times sellers of the neighborhood will walk in and you don't even know it, but they're interviewing you for the job to possibly list their house that they're thinking of listing. That is a gem when that happens. We're gonna pick up buyers, right? It's gonna happen. Sometimes we pick up a buyer for that home, right? So buyers, sellers, both. And for me, I wanna market this out. So I'm gonna get everything set up, boom, I'm gonna shoot a video, I'm gonna put it out there. Because if nothing else, your sphere is gonna see and they're gonna think, God, Armand lists like 50 homes last year. Maybe 10 of them were mine and the other 40 were from agents that didn't wanna do an open house at their home. And I love those agents, because bring it on, I'll take it. You wanna do an open house? Ooh, that's a gem, I'll take it. Also be strategic too. If you get a call and someone's like, hey, you wanna do an open house for me, and it's been sitting 40 or 50 days, I'm probably not gonna do that one. I want a fresh one on the market. However, sometimes, if there was offer review and we don't hit it and we push into that second week because people didn't want to get into bidding wars, it may pop right after that. We're actually seeing a lot of that happening right now, okay? So be strategic and actually put together a plan. Do you know what I mean? Map it out, okay? So, and to that point, mapping it out, once you've identified your listing, go online and look at all your crossroads. I see this so many times. I see a open house sign in front of the home. That's it. Okay, that's great because people are gonna find the home on, Google, Maps and whatever, and Siri and all that. But like, I don't just want the people that saw it on the MLS who are planning to go. I want people that are driving around, okay? And so, for example.
On that, I will say that last week, when the best potential buyer, maybe the only one all weekend, I was picking up the open house after, like the sign after it closed, and she hunted me down and then went in the house and then followed me to the next one.
For sure. No, and you know what, that's spot on, because a few times I've been locking the door and loading up, people show up, and they're like, oh, are we late? No, you're here. Come on in, because that's an opportunity, and I've closed business doing that, when you picked up a buyer and or had that person write it up. Didn't see anybody at the open house. Someone shows up last minute, oh yeah, let's go on in, you know what I mean? So having your signs out, I do a minimum of 10 A-boards. If I can, it's hard when you're way out in the middle of nowhere and it's like 5 miles to the next street. People are driving like, where is this open house? But if you're in a more condensed area, you can be strategic and put those signs out there and put balloons on them, man. For 1,000 open houses, I see like 5 or 10 people doing balloons. The signs are already hard to read, especially some of these folks that love to use black.
And we have balloons here for you and helium.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Not everyone needs that.
So remember too, at KW we have the 2 greatest colors, red and white. That was strategic, I guarantee that. Anybody go crabbing?
Yeah.
You know the buoy out there, it's red and white. Do you know why it's red and white? Because you can see it the most.
Lifeguards.
Right, so we have red and white as these beautiful colors. Okay, so I try to match that too with my balloons. I usually get red and silver. If there's any light, it's gonna hit them. They're gonna see those balloons from down the street, and maybe you pick up some more traffic, right? So you go to the dollar store, we get 20 balloons, it's $20. that's a massive return on investment if you pick up a buyer and seller. If you don't have A boards, call somebody because one of us does, right? There's always A boards. So if you're gonna do the open house, you're gonna take the time, spend the time to set up all your A boards strategically to point people. And I love it when people show up and they're like, oh my gosh, man, I found out about your open house like 3 or 4 miles down the road and your signs took me right in. They love that stuff. It also makes you look like you really know what you're doing, especially if a neighbor walks up and they're like, oh, okay, you're doing this open house? Wow, look at all this marketing this person put out there. I never see that. I even have big banners that I pop up. They take like 30 seconds to pop in the ground. The big ones that are like 12 feet tall, they flap in the wind. I put those out in front. Bam. Neighbors love that. You will pick up listings if they're like, wow, this guy's like throwing a party. That's why I want to sell my house, that guy who spent 1 hour getting his open house ready before he gets there. Also, this is one of the most important things. You ever drive up to an open house that you're bringing to your clients and there's a whole line of people because the realtor's not there and you're even, right on time? Happens all the time. Guys, don't show up at the last minute, unlock the door, roll in. Get there early, 20, 30 minutes. Be set up, have your computer, have your flyers out. And if you're doing an open house for someone else, pull their flyers out, man, slide them in a box. Put your flyers in there with your brand and everything on it, right? And hand out flyers with your information. Whether they think you're the listing agent or not, you're not there to pick up a buyer for that listing agent. You're there to pick up one for yourself. So bring all your own branded stuff, okay? Also, be thinking, this probably isn't gonna be the home for this buyer. So if it's not, on the MLS, you can thumbnail, search geographically around the area. Look for listings that are similar-ish in price, I try to go 30, 40, 50 grand below and above. And I'll print out similar-ish listings in a similar geography, or maybe Lake Stevens, Marysville, Granite, Arlington, because there's no inventory. And if that's not the one for them, okay, because according to the National Association of Realtors, less than 3% of homes get sold because of the open house. Somebody walks in, if that's not the one, boom, you've got other flyers to hand them of other ones that you'd be happy to show them. Okay, all right, okay, does that make sense? Any questions so far? Okay, all right. Shoot your video. I don't care if you take a picture or if you shoot a video. Man, imagine in the 80s, man, they had to produce videos with camcorders and pay people and do all this stuff. Now we have Facebook, it's at our fingertips. Take the opportunity to just shoot a video. Add value to somebody who's watching this, right? Like, oh man, I'm at an open house here in Marysville. It's a beautiful home. You don't need to rattle off the address because you're gonna go in there and submit a link in there that says click the link below for details, right? We don't do that. I'm at 123 Main Street and we talk just real briefly, a couple of cool things about it, and then who do you know? That's your question. Who do you know who's looking for a home in Marysville? Because by asking who do you know, you're actually asking if they are. So you're asking them if they are, and you want to know about all their sphere, like everybody. Sometimes I'll be like, if you know anybody, reach out to me or share the link. And it's because people will go, oh man, my friend's looking for Lake Stevens. I'm gonna share the link. I've gotten calls like that before too. Hey Ramon, my buddy, so-and-so, he's your friend, he shared your link, I wasn't the listing agent, but I did the open house. I picked him up as a buyer, we went and wrote it up. The best under 1 minute video you can ever shoot. So take advantage of social media, yes.
So with the new MLS stuff, can we still do the videos and?
Sure, of course, absolutely. There are rules wrapped around it, right? Like you gotta get permission, you gotta insert your logo. So just do all that, right? Before I could do it I'd shoot the video, I'd go to the open house and bam, bam, bam. But if you're gonna do an open house for another agent, can you please email me permission to shoot a video? I mean, if you're standing out on the road, you're not really in their house, but the point is, you're supposed to get permission. We actually always were supposed to. And then if you're inside too, and then just make sure you drop your KW logo either in the video or in the.
It's supposed to be one click away.
Okay, gotcha.
Amy told me I put it on my cover page on Facebook, so that's what I did.
Okay, cool. I'm wearing a KW hat every time I shoot a video. Is that enough? I mean, it's right there.
Probably.
I mean, it's right there. So
Janine
definitely,
said you could have a sign in your, if your sign's in your video,
Cool.
with like your stuff.
Yeah.
I could stand by open house signs, my
Yeah.
name on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would work,
Yeah.
or in your comments or somewhere, or
Or
if
what
you.
you say.
for sure, yeah, yeah. Mom here with KW North Sound, hey, doing this open at boom, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but take the opportunity, shoot the video. Don't be afraid of video. I get so much business off of shooting the videos. And I love doing them, they're fun. And I love messing them up, that's even funner. Okay, so this is where we really get down to the meat and potatoes, right? Okay, Lance, what do you always say about questions in real estate?
Person asking the questions is leading the conversation.
Right, and then what is it you say about the quality of questions? We get what?
We get paid based upon the quality of questions we ask.
Like it's like right in here. We get paid based on the quality of questions we ask, right? So we have to ask better questions. So believe it or not, a lot of what I'm about to share with you, I have a video from Amy Wagner because I was struggling one year with open houses. I'm like, this is my jam, what's going on? Well, when rates were 3% and everybody was slammed and we were crazy, people were walking in and you were just doing business hand over foot, it was easy. Like, right, we got away from like asking those better questions. We were so, yeah, thank you, yes. It was almost just like a given. So I started doing open houses again. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm not picking up anybody. And so I'm sitting down with Amy Wagner one day and she said she almost quit real estate. Imagine her not being in real estate. Because she was struggling at open houses and then she figured it out. She got some advice and she said, you know what, Armand, at the end of the day, and I shall have this long video of her and I asked all these, she gave me all this information and all of a sudden it clicked again. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even asking most of these questions anymore. I just had gotten complacent or lazy, right? We've all been there. So I refocused. I wrote all these questions down and I tried to start incorporating them again. And I picked up 3 buyers at my next open house the next day. I'm like, okay. So what I'm gonna actually share with you is a lot of insight Amy shared with me, right? And so it's very, very important that we ask the right questions, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be in the right order, but we have to ask some of these questions. So immediately when people walk in, it's about the greeting. For me, I stand up, I'll try to shake their hand if they're open to that, and I'll introduce myself, and I'll just simply say, hey guys, my name's Armand Garcia with Keller Williams. If you have any questions on the home, I'll be right over here. Please feel free to take a look around, fall in love, if you want to say something corny, something like that. And just take a look around, let them walk around and do their thing. Because you know what I've learned in all these years of doing real estate? Homes sell themselves, they really do. If they don't want it, you're not gonna get them to buy it. But if they do, we're gonna uncover that, right? You know what I mean? Okay, so you've gotta engage and you've gotta ask probing questions, right? Okay? You wanna gain insight with these probing questions, and then you're also gonna wanna gain rapport. Because Lance, who do people work with?
People that know, like, and trust.
Right. So they're gonna come in, they're gonna get to know you. If they don't like you, you're not gonna get them. And if they don't trust you, you're probably not gonna get them. But if you can get 1, 2, or 3 of those, at the very end, when you do hand them your card, or they do ask for your card, or you do ask for their info, they're probably gonna wanna work with you, right? Oil and water don't always mix, okay? So you have them take a look around. Okay, and then here, this one was kind of an eye opener for me, because I never asked this question before. This one's a game changer, okay? As they come downstairs, they're walking around, you don't have to run up to them, but just engage them as they're walking by. Hey guys, what did you think of the home? The reason I ask is I would love to give the homeowner some feedback. That one to me blew my hair back because immediately they're gonna tell you everything they love. And you know what, guys, don't be afraid, likes and dislikes. Oh, well, gosh, man, this thing has a really small yard. Okay, so what am I already thinking? They want a bigger yard. Writing that down, right? So asking them to tell you what they like and dislike about the home, because people can get really honest, right? They're like, oh, this or this, or oh, I love this, or I love that, and yeah, dislikes to anything you don't care for about it, and you'll find out if this is the home for them, right? So ask those questions, and you can give your seller feedback. That one to me changed things. You're gonna be able to uncover some interest in the home, and then you'll also be able to understand what they're searching for by asking that one question. So that one's key, right? And then you can jump into some of these other questions too along the way. I like to ask people, hey, how long have you been looking? Oh, God, 3 years. And you're like, oh man, okay. So are they motivated? We're gonna find out.
Lately, I've been asking, have you been putting in a lot of offers? Cause that way you know that they have an agent,
For sure.
and a lot of people are putting in a lot of.
Yeah, and that's a huge one because we don't wanna ask, are you working with an agent? Right there, you're done. Your goose is cooked, right? Don't ask that question ever.
So
Not necessary.
Armand, what I usually ask is, so is this the first open house you've been to?
Oh, that's a good one.
And then if they
Write that down.
Because if they say yes, well then, it's unlike, so have you gone and looked at any other homes?
Yeah.
Well, you're asking if they have an agent without asking.
And that's what's great about what you guys just both said. I've not heard that one. That's a good one.
Then usually my greeting, not to take over, but
No, for sure.
is, hey, I'm Ed Finland, and welcome. So typically what I have found is that one of two groups of people come. Either people looking to buy a home or people that live in the area and are gonna sell their home. Do you fit into one of those two groups?
Right. And that was one of my next questions.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I love the way Ed worded it, completely different than how I ask it, but it's a great question, right, to uncover for two reasons, right? So why would we ask somebody, are you a renter or are you currently a homeowner? What are we looking for, Lance?
Look for another listing.
This guy, like the listing king, right? We are always looking for another listing.
Yeah.
And this just happened to me the other day. I'm gonna share this with you real quick and we'll keep track of time. I'm almost done. I had a little Manu, had it for a long time, forever, 60 grand. I got 1,000,001 calls on it. But what was cool is I did get 1,000,001 calls on it. Get a call from a gal one day. She wants to see it, she wants to see it now. Cause I'm just sitting around waiting for the call, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go show it to her. It's right up the street, I got an hour to burn. I roll out, she was in a hurry, right? Oh no, I really gotta see it. I'm a cash buyer, yeah, I'm ready. I go and I pull up, we pull into the driveway, she gets out of the car, she's like, no. No, this isn't the one for me. That's not what she said, but I'm gonna use that verbiage. I said, okay. And so we didn't even go inside. I said, well, let me ask you this. What would the one for you look like? Okay, Matt's in here too, and she goes, well, and she started giving me some info. I said, okay, great. I said, well, let me ask you this. I said, I got a pretty busy week. I said, I'd love to circle back around with you on that. And she goes, oh my God, Armand, that would be great, because if you could find me the one, you can list my town whenever too. We're currently under contract right now on a 300 Manu, not 60, and a 560 townhome. So what was that little conversation worth? Just shy of $1 million, because, well, A, I ran up there and showed it, I had time, but because I asked her that one question, instead of like, okay, this isn't the one for you, great, later. What would the perfect one look like? And that's part of the series of the questions that we ask here. So we ask, are you currently a homeowner or are you renting, okay? What brought you to the open house? Were you just driving by or were you looking online? Sometimes people are like, oh, I was just driving by. We like that. If they were looking online, they may already have a realtor, they may not. Once again, with other questions, we'll find out, okay? Where are you currently at in the process? Have you gotten pre-approved? You know what I mean? If they're starting to tell you, we've been looking for a while, Armand, we've been looking for 3 months or 6 months, and I get people that go, we've been looking for 3 weeks, this is brutal. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So, we want to identify their pain points, right? And we also want to understand too, like you said, have you already talked to a lender? We want to know this stuff. But these are all great questions to build rapport. We got to build rapport, right? Because they work with people we know, like, and trust, okay? This is what's really important too. If you're getting a vibe from them that they kind of like the place, they're telling you all these things, you know what? If they don't have a bunch of dislikes, but they have a bunch of likes, don't be afraid to ask for the business, right? Okay, you're listing or not. So it's kind of, I actually like doing open houses that aren't my listing, right? Because I don't do that. I won't write it out. I just won't. I did it once, I didn't like it. So I love to do open houses for listings that aren't mine, and I want to write that up, right? Do you know what I mean? So don't be afraid to ask for the business. Oh, hey, from what I'm hearing, it seems like you guys really like this place, right? Okay. Would you like to put together an offer to see what the seller would say? Very, very simple. Figure out your own verbiage that works for you. If that's something you guys are interested in, I'm happy to write that up for you. And you'll find out real quick, is this the home for them or not? Oh gosh, we're not the right one. You can do that. You could write that up. Yeah, here's what's great. I'm not the listing agent. There's another agent who's gonna work for the seller. but I can write this up and represent you guys if you'd like, and then, of course, now then the form comes out, right? Okay, that's important. But you're gonna be able to find out if they don't wanna make an offer on this, and you don't have to pressure them, just ask them that question. If they wanna write it up, they'll write it up. If not, you'll go find them the right home, okay? If you do whatever it takes, and you come from contribution, and you don't have commission breath, you're gonna, if you're already engaged, that's number one, you have to stop having, if they think you need a sale, they're gonna feel it, they're gonna roll, you're never gonna hear from them again, okay? So just be mindful, but you have to get out and do the open houses, you have to get out and practice. Are you gonna pick up a ton of people on your first open house? Maybe not, on your second, third, fifth, 10th. I get people that'll be like, oh, yeah, come on. Yeah, I did everything you said, I didn't pick up anybody, total waste of my time, I'm out. Do like one open house, yes.
You mentioned that if I ask them if they have an agent, I'm dead.
Most of the time I find that out,
I
yes.
always ask them if they have an agent.
Okay, I hope you understand
And
that.
to me, it's not, I didn't close the door, I opened the door,
Okay,
because they're gonna tell me yes. And then I'm gonna say, well, can I apply for the job as well?
love it, okay,
They'll look,
okay.
and that's where I wanna go with that.
So that's a whole nother thought process, right? You wanna apply for the job as well, even though they've said
If
they
they
have,
don't have an agent,
okay?
yeah, then I'm gonna apply for the job. But if they do have an agent, may I apply for the job as well?
Great, love it, right? That's a whole nother take.
Again, you're giving Lance a lot of credit now, well, too, I got that from him.
I like that you came into it knowing that the answer they were already gonna say. Like that, so you're leading that whole thing
A
by
lot of
asking
people are
them
learning
this
to
specific
say,
question.
you already have an agent, so you leave them alone. So
And a lot of times, do they? They don't. Too many times, and here's what I'll do, Rick, so I used to ask that question, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I certainly do. I'd say, okay, great, we already have an agent, right? And we know what we're supposed to not do if they
My
already say
next
they do.
statement usually on that is this, and how's that going? And many times they go, well, I don't see too much of him, the door's wide open there.
Right,
it's the equivalent of being in Macy's and the person says, do you need any help? And what do you always say?
no,
I'm just looking.
yeah,
Saying I have an agent is the equivalent of no, I'm just looking.
yeah, and there is a way to upsell yourself, because really that's what Rick's talking about. He's gonna upsell his services and himself, like he asked that question, and how's that going, right? And if they say, oh my God, it's going great, we love the guy so much, he's not here with us right now, but we love him. But yeah, you can find out a lot even asking it Rick's way as well, okay? So,
Pardon me, I didn't even take you off track.
no, this is a dialogue, this is great, Rick, because I'm learning too, right? And so, here's something that I did just the other day to pick up a buyer, right? This guy come in, my open house is crazy busy, he's walking around looking around, and I had these people that were talking to me like crazy the whole time, and I said, hey guys, can you give me 1 second, this gentleman's leaving, just wanna ask him a quick question. So I simply asked him, what'd you think of the home, before you leave, he's a real tall gentleman, and he said, oh yeah, this, that, and the other. I said, okay, all right, and I said, and asked him a few more just probing questions, and he basically said, oh yeah, I'm in the military, I'm looking for something to buy, because every 2 or 3 years I move somewhere else and I wanna turn it into a rental, right, so I'm a landlord. Okay, this is a rambler, I understand what he could get for this thing, and I said, oh, okay, so you're an investor, and he says, yeah, I said, great, I'm an investor also. I said, I'd love to have a longer conversation with you about that. And he goes, well, I'm already working with an agent. I said, okay, great, that's okay. I said, let me do this for you though, before you go, here's my card, if you have any questions on this home specific, call me, okay? He called me 2 weeks later, and now I'm working on it. So I didn't just let him walk away, because he had said, and here's the truth, he was working with an agent, they had a 5-day buyer's agency. That buyer's agency expired, now he has a 180 day with me. So anyways,
On the buyer's agency, I was just wondering, when you know that they have in the current environment, if you know they have an agent, they're signed, are there any legalities to try and?
it's a great one for Amy Wagner. Great one for Amy Wagner. No, I definitely learn about this, guys, it's really important. That's why I take a little bit different approach. Rick is a little more gangster and old school, he'll just wrestle out of them. Okay, so I wanna finish up with this, because this is really important. Well, first of all, before I finish up, do you guys have any other questions about how I do my open houses?
When are you getting them to sign in, or how does that work?
I do.
You don't have them sign in?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't ask, and people love doing that, I don't ask for any of their information. Once again, you can turn people off if you're not careful, and I've tried it, during COVID, it really was a big turn off, because they were demanding we do that, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do this, because here's the thing, remember, come from contribution, if they like you, they're gonna work with you, if they don't like you, I don't care what you say to them, they're gonna roll. So,
Just to be devil's advocate.
yeah, I wanna hear it.
Is I'm like, hey, it was nice to meet you, Armand, hey, can you do me a favor, can you just sign in here, because the seller is kinda asking them, and you can understand if you just had strangers wandering around your house, you'd wanna know who it is, right?
For sure, and I know agents that do that and it works, they love it. I don't do it because I actually asked the guy a question similar to that, if you have an open house, he gave me his info, gave me his number.
Oh no, Mickey Mouse and
Yeah.
Popeye come to
Smoker.
all the
Yeah.
time.
So I wanna focus on the ones who actually wanna work with me, right? But you're right, it's a numbers game, you do enough of these, and you will all find out what works from you, take from me, go shadow other people that do open houses, take a little bit from them. Like you'll follow somebody like Monica and she's got swag, she looks amazing, and she sounds amazing and is very presentable, right? Like it's key. I also asked Monica to do an open house for me, because I couldn't that day, but if I'm gonna have somebody do one of my open houses, I wanna know that they're next level, and she is. And she picked up a $900,000 buyer, didn't sell that home, it sold anyways, didn't matter, it was a Rambler in Lake Stevens for $500,000. But man, when I walked into her open house, I was impressed by and she was there 45 minutes early, and she had banners and balloons and all this. Like seriously guys, this is a career, this is a job. We need to invest in ourselves, right? So if you're doing open houses, don't, and I'm gonna say this, don't half-ass it. Like just don't. Do all these things and you will crush it. And here's the thing, so many agents say, I can't do this business, I can't do this. Are you doing open houses? Well, I mean, no. I'm like, wow, okay. Are you mailing out Seahawks magnets? No. Are you mailing out Mariners magnets? No. Did you shoot a video on social media? No. Okay. You probably shouldn't be in this business, because there is literally a playbook of success that I could go to Lance and he can give me a nugget, I could go to Lynn, she's given me so many over time, right? Molly, Willow, they've been in the business a long time, right? Pull a nugget, I will never dial for dollars, right? That's Tyler's jam, that's RESG, but they're good at it, right? That's their thing. Me, I wanna meet people, I wanna help people, I want them to look me in the eye and go, wow, I really think this guy's gonna help me. So this is the most important part, and I'll finish up. This is like huge, guys. This is so big. If you do nothing else after your open house, do this, okay? The fortune is in the what?
Follow up.
Oh my sweet baby Jesus. Do you know how many times people walk out of an open house and they don't follow up? Or you got their info and you never called them? Or they never heard from you? It's like, my God, they gave you their info and you never called them. So seriously, when you get done with an open house, here's what I love to do. If it's not that I'm doing it for Lance, right? Like right at the end, I go back to my homeroom office, whatever, boom, I do a full write-up for Lance. Lance, these are all the people that were here, this is what they said. I'm not giving him their contact info, that's mine, right? But I wanna give him all that info so I know that I'm following up and I'm creating a follow-up for myself. I give it to him, he goes to the homeowner and says, man, we had a great open house today, Armand sat it for me. He did, hit all these signs and all these things. Now, who is Lance gonna call on anytime he doesn't have a guy doing house? Like, man, I know Monica would give me this big sheet. I've had people do open houses for me and I'm like, how'd it go? Oh, it was great. What? What does that mean? It was so busy. So, but I do a full follow-up, and I do that also, it's for myself. So that I know I gotta call this person that I will be like, we had 13 people through, here's what they said, here's the feedback. I do that because it holds me accountable to do it for him so he can give it to his seller. And if I do my own open house, I better give my clients a big report. And I'll finish with this. I recently had one. We had an offer review day for Tuesday, listed on a Thursday, no offers. I'm like, oh. I had another one this same weekend that both people knew I had. That one sold in 2 days. You know my sellers are gonna be like, over here, Armand, you sold your other listing in 2 days, what's going on here? Luckily, I had all the information. Here's how many showings we've had. Here's what people said. Bam, 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 bam. But I had all that data. That also helps you really, truly understand the market. So you have to follow up, or why are you doing them? Any other questions?
I was just gonna say, that's my thing now, is every Monday, I'll call even the people with agents and just ask them again for feedback and ask them again for, and say thank you. And-
Yeah.
And then I always, after every open house, I communicate with whoever has the listing and I tell them what to look out for. This person liked it, they're probably gonna make an offer.
Right, and here's something to the follow-up to, guys, where you'll pick up people. You ever have somebody ask you a question about the home? It's actually amazing when you don't know the answer. Let them know, you don't know everything about it, no, but guess what? I'm gonna call the seller and find out. So Bill, can I get your phone number so I can call you and give you this information? It's brilliant. Not having an answer and going and getting it and following up. I've picked up buyers that way. Or they'll just say, dude, I'm on, thank you. We're gonna make an offer, and then you look like a hero too. But it's a great way if you don't have an answer. Cool, what's your number? Anyways, hope this helped.
I just tell them I don't know.
Well,
That's a good one, and
when
the,
you're the listing agent, you're good.
the other one is, you can let them know what it sells for, right, or goes pending, because it won't show that for like a month
Right.
online or on Zillow.
Right.
And so you can be there, like,
Yeah.
if they're really curious about it, or they've been looking for a while, they
Yeah.
wanna know about the market, you can say, just here, Armand, put your phone number in my phone,
Yeah.
and I'll just shoot you a text real quick next week and let you know what it went pending for. And that, giving them your phone
Yeah.
when you're talking with them is an instant rapport builder.
And I think that's a great way to get people's information versus saying sign in right here, which works too. There's no right or wrong, just build it for you. Once you figure out what works for you, then just run with it. Because then you'll go, oh my gosh, I'm picking up so many people. There's business to be had, you just have to let them get it. Anyways, hope that information helped.
One of the things like, we're doing down in Everett for a couple of teams, when we're doing different flyers for mortgage, we're not doing it for the specific sales price. So if the sales price is $700, we might do it for $650. So then the agent can say, you know what, I can customize this specific to yours. Give me your contact information, I'll have my lender customize it for you.
Yeah, a lot of good ways to
So then we're
get
giving
it.
value back.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Does anybody have any other questions about open houses? Anything like that?
Inside or anything that's working that I wanna know about?
And not to steal Armand's thunder, but that's one of the things I was planning to talk about next couple of weeks, is I have a system where you basically give about an hour, hour and a half. So for argument's sake, you're doing it on Sunday, you start on the previous Sunday evening, identify the house, and about an hour every day. So it's not a whole day of prepping, you're spending about an hour each day prepping, so.
Yeah, know the stats, know the neighborhood a little bit, like what's pending, what's active. I mean, it doesn't take us that long to pull up some sheets, and also too, so many people need us to be the subject matter expert because they have Zillow, they have Redfin, they have the HomeSpotter app. I mean, that doesn't tell them what
And
we
the
know.
news.
In the news, yeah. Even worse, I mean, my gosh, they're gonna constantly hit you with, I'm already getting into open houses, like, so is it true? And I'm like, no, actually, none of that's true. Oh.
I always use questions though around that. Tell me what you've been hearing.
Yeah, well, that's why they say that, is it true?
Right, and then when they tell you, you say, and then what else? And what else and what else, right?
Yeah. Oh.
And
What
you-
else have they been wrong about?
Yeah, well, just tell me what else, and then say, oh gosh, I'd love to put together some information for you, because we talk about this at a high level back at the office. So I can bring you back some good information, we can talk about your specific situation, because the market's different wherever you are.
Yeah.
Very hyper local.
Yeah.
So hyper local pockets. Okay? Lots of things when you start learning scripts, talking with Ed, talking with people who have been in business for a long time and understanding, what everybody's saying, and then mastering that so you can adjust it and tweak it for you, right? So it sounds authentic.
Yeah.
Because the minute that you're not authentic, and the minute that have scarcity vibes, you need a deal, right? If you're just gonna deflect everything from you, all those people will walk away.
Hey man, you wanna write this up? You wanna buy it? Dude, I've been in open houses with my clients, and the things I hear, I'm just like, wow, okay, but hey, to each their own, if that works for them.
It's part of everybody's learning curve.
Oh, no, there's no right, I mean, there's not really a right or wrong, right? If one thing's working for someone else, that's great, I wanna know about it. But like I said, I don't pick up the phone and dial for dollars like some do when they call and circle prospect. I hyper focus on my sphere. I have a large sphere, so I can do that, but some don't, so they have to do things a certain way, and that, if it works for them, that's great.
Some people go door knock the neighborhood too
Yeah.
before and invite everybody to come to the open house.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're doing it, ask the people in the neighborhood the things that they like about being in this neighborhood, you know, what do you hate about this neighborhood? So I can, and you can tweak your conversations around that kind of stuff at the open house.
Yeah, I was door knocking once, and it was only like 5 doors down from the subject property. I just said, okay, I'm not gonna go that way because there's a hill. I'm gonna go this way. And I know, right? It was up above Cedar Crest Golf Course. It was all a hill. But the 4th door I knocked, they were renters. They wrote an offer on that house.
Oh.
And it was April's listing. And I'm like, I'm gonna door knock your listing. She's like, okay. And I was handing out flyers. Hey, we're doing open house Saturday and Sunday. The people, because it was around the corner and they never saw the sign. And they're like, oh my God, which one listed? And I told them, and they're like, seriously? Well, our lease is up here. It was just boom, you know what I mean? So.
You have to be in the right time at the right place doing the right activity.
Yeah.
And I guess the one last thing I was gonna say about the follow-up is I feel like in talking to everybody and talking about the market and what's been happening lately, we've had this huge like cloud of buyers, you know, on the fence because it's expensive and trying to get buyers off the fence. And I don't know about you, but I have a big group of my pipeline that's just not moving yet. And so I feel like that follow-up game is longer than normal,
Right.
And so a lot of times at open houses right now, even though a client has maybe been working with an agent, if they're not doing a high-level follow-up job, that relationship is falling apart and you have this opportunity to step in
Like what Rick said.
get some business.
So I used to have this as my screen on my phone, I still have it saved in my phone, but I don't have it. But it's just sales statistics, not specific to realtors, but 40% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact, and 80% of sales are made on the fifth and 12th contact.
Can you send that to me, Ed?
Yeah,
I'll put it
yeah.
in the Facebook group.
Yeah, I couldn't
That's
keep
a
up
lot.
with it.
I can't burn that.
So it used to be,
We're
like,
Marysville agents, we can't write that.
in my,
So the 5th was 80%?
Of sales are made,
No,
80% of sales are made from the fifth to the
That's all I
12th.
need to know.
The 5th to the 12th, yeah.
5th to 12th.
Yeah.
5th to 12th.
And that is those are real numbers, and I feel like right now, that follow-up game has, like, it's gotten longer,
Well,
right?
the other thing, and so April and I had this conversation, you know, I said, well, okay, so you're gonna email them this, you're gonna leave a voicemail, this, you're gonna this, that's all the same. I go, yeah. First, you assume they look at all of it, they don't, okay? And second, how many times you have to hear or see something to internalize it?
At least 8.
7, okay? So, no, the statistics are 7, so you gotta just hammer the same information, because you hear something one time, and you wrote that down, but even if you heard me clearly, and I asked you in 20 minutes,
Yeah, so,
and without looking at your paper, can you tell me what it is?
no, but if you
So,
can.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, but I'm being honest, I need to hear it, speak it, write it down. I need
Well, what
that.
I tell people with scripts is, okay, we find one, great, put it over here, and now you're gonna write it out, okay? And maybe you change a little tiny bit to make it sound like you, but you don't change the message, okay? You write it out, okay? Now you practice in the mirror to yourself, okay? Now you're gonna take it and you're gonna type it out, okay? And now you're gonna practice it with a loved one, okay? And maybe you practice it again in the mirror, okay? Now you're gonna go and do it in front of a couple of colleagues or something. You've gotta be able to just, you're in an elevator and you can't go, I mean, you have just gotta be able to You have got to internalize these, and the only way I've found is the reason you talk it is it's stored here in your brain. The reason you write is it's stored here in your brain. The reason you type it, it's stored back here. You say it in your head, it's stored over here. So you gotta do all these things to cement it in your brain.
That's true, truth. Okay, it's 12:03. Everybody grab a cup of coffee, go to the bathroom, or don't, stick around. Ed's gonna dive in deep onto scripts, farming, conversion, and all the wonderful things.
No, good job so far. You guys get some good information.
I was just at the Edmund Beach field trip academy and I was like, now, freezing, it's May.
Yeah.
I better come into the sales rally center to get warmed up.
Right?